Daha 17, English voiceover script. A house full of secrets. Welcome back, everyone. If you've been following Daha 17, you already know this show has a habit of building quiet tension for weeks and then breaking it all open in a single episode. Well, that moment is here. The truth that's been buried since the very beginning is finally clawing its way to the surface, and both Aras and Tomen are walking straight into it, from two completely different directions. Before we dive in, if you don't want this show to end anytime soon, smash that like button right now. Let's show the network there's still a huge audience hungry for more Daha 17. And if you're new here, hit subscribe, because we break down every twist the moment it happens. So let's set the scene. For weeks, Aras has been chasing fragments of a past that doesn't quite add up. A missing brother. A childhood that was never fully explained to him. And now, that search has led him to the one place that holds all the answers, the house where everything began. What makes this moment so powerful isn't just that he's standing there. It's what he's not expecting to find. The house where everything began. Picture this. Aras walks into this old, half-forgotten house, and almost immediately, something catches his eye. Tucked into the gaps between the floorboards, hidden away like someone wanted them to survive time itself, are a few old toy cars. Small, simple, easy to overlook, except Aras doesn't overlook them. In that instant, something clicks. This isn't just an abandoned house. This was his brother's home. There's a version of this scene that hits even harder once you realize what it means. A child, hiding his favorite toys in the cracks of a floor, probably telling himself he'd come back for them one day. Maybe he believed he'd be the one to find them again. Maybe it was his way of leaving a piece of himself behind, just in case. And now, years later, it's Aras who finds them instead, not the brother who hid them, but the one who's spent his whole life searching for him. This is the kind of storytelling Daha 17 does so well. It's not just about the big dramatic reveal, it's about the small, aching details that make you feel the weight of everything that's been lost. A pair of toy cars becomes the entire emotional core of an episode. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Aras isn't the only one drawn to this house. Two paths, one destination. While Aras is piecing together his own history, Tomen is on a completely separate journey, chasing down a truth of his own. And somehow, without either of them planning it, without either of them even knowing the other is looking, their paths lead to the exact same place. Think about what that means for a second. Two people who've spent the show circling each other, sometimes as allies, sometimes as rivals, both independently arrive at the one location that could unravel everything. That's not a coincidence the show wants you to brush past. That's the writers telling you, loudly, that these two storylines were always headed toward collision. So what pushed Tomen here in the first place? This is where things get genuinely bold. Tomen doesn't wait for the truth to come to him, he goes and takes it. He steals his therapist's private notebook. Whatever guilt or hesitation might have stopped someone else doesn't stop him. He needs answers, and he's done waiting for them to be handed to him. What the notebook reveals. Once Tomen starts reading through those pages, something shifts. Details about the fire, the one that's clearly shaped so much of this family's pain, start coming into focus. We don't know everything he learns in that moment, and honestly, that mystery is part of what makes this so gripping. But, whatever it is, it's enough to send him straight to the location where that fire actually happened. Think about the courage, or maybe the desperation, it takes to do that. To go back to the site of the very tragedy that's haunted your family for years, now armed with new information that could confirm your worst fears. Tomen isn't just searching for facts anymore. He's searching for closure, even if that closure comes at a devastating cost. And this is exactly why these two storylines, Aras uncovering pieces of his brother's childhood, and Tomen uncovering the truth about the fire, were about to merge into one much bigger revelation. Because if Tomen's brother is connected to that house, and if the fire is connected to Tomen's family, then everyone watching knows exactly where this is heading. The overlap is too specific to be accidental. The secret Hakan and Sebnem have buried for years. Now let's talk about the two people who've been holding this truth hostage the longest, Hakan and Sebnem. For years, they've protected a secret so carefully that it's shaped the entire course of this family's life. And for the first time, that secret is closer to breaking than it's ever been. Sebnem's motivation throughout all of this has always been rooted in protecting her son. That's understandable on the surface. What parent wouldn't want to shield their child from pain? But the show keeps reminding us that protection built on secrecy doesn't actually protect anyone. It just delays the damage and makes it worse when it finally arrives. Every attempt Sebnem makes to keep the truth buried seems to be tightening the noose around the whole family instead of loosening it. Hakan, meanwhile, is fighting an uphill battle he can feel slipping away from him. He knows Aras is getting closer. He knows Tomen is getting closer. And no matter how hard he pushes back, no matter what he tries to control, the truth has too much momentum now. Once two separate people are independently arriving at the same conclusions, there's no version of this where he wins. If you're still holding out hope that Hakan somehow keeps this buried forever, I'd let that hope go now. The story has made it pretty clear which direction this is heading. A new face enters the picture. While all of this is unfolding, Daha 17 is also expanding its world. A new character named Fertie is stepping into the story, played by actor Ozan Dagas. Fertie's introduction is timed perfectly. Right as the family's secrets are starting to unravel, someone new is arriving to complicate things even further. What we do know is that Fertie isn't a random new face wandering into the plot. He's connected to a mysterious, still unseen figure the show has been building up, someone the fandom has taken to calling simply, Abi, the elder brother. Fertie is set to become that character's right hand, which tells you a lot about how significant this, Abi, figure is going to be once he finally appears on screen. There's chatter that Fertie's very first move once he's fully in the story will be to approach Hakan Akaya directly, which, if true, adds even more pressure onto a man who's already struggling to keep his family's secrets contained. But the bigger story here isn't really about Fertie himself. It's about what his arrival signals. The show is setting up for the Abi character to make a real entrance, and when that happens, expect the stakes in this story to jump to an entirely new level. Layla, Dagakan, and the emotional fallout. Let's not forget the emotional thread running underneath all of this. Aras isn't just dealing with the shock of his family's hidden history, he's also processing heartbreak. Seeing Layla with Dagakan clearly affects him, and that moment lands right before the much bigger revelation about the house. It's a smart piece of writing, honestly. The show lets Aras feel one kind of pain first, so that when the second, much heavier blow hits, realizing this was his brother's childhood home, it hits even harder because he's already emotionally raw. This is something Daha 17 does consistently well. It doesn't let its characters process one crisis at a time. It stacks them, layering romantic heartbreak on top of family trauma, so that every episode feels like it's asking these characters to carry more than they can hold. And as viewers, that's exactly what keeps us hooked. # where this is all heading. So here's where things stand. Aras has just discovered a direct, physical connection between his missing brother and this old house. Tomen has just uncovered fire-related secrets from his therapist's stolen notebook and gone straight to the site where it happened. Hakan and Sebnem are watching their carefully guarded secret slip further out of their control by the day. And a brand new character is being positioned to bring a much bigger, more mysterious figure into the story. All the signs point to one thing: a major reveal is coming, and it's coming soon. Once Aras and Tomen's separate journeys fully intersect, and once the truth about the fire, the missing brother, and the family's hidden history all connect, this show is going to feel like an entirely different story. Characters we thought we understood might turn out to be something else completely. Relationships we've taken for granted might not survive what's coming. There's also been talk that once these secrets come out, we might see some familiar faces leaving the show, while new characters continue to be introduced to carry the story forward. That's the kind of shift that can completely reshape a series, and if Daha 17 goes that route, the back half of this season could look very different from everything we've seen so far. Final thoughts. At its core, what makes this arc so compelling is that it's not built on a single big twist, it's built on years of small, quiet clues finally converging. A hidden toy, a stolen notebook, a house nobody wanted to go back to. Individually, none of these felt like much. Together, they're about to blow this entire story wide open. If you've been rooting for Aras to find his brother, for Tomen to finally understand his own past, or even just for Hakan and Sebnem's secret to finally catch up with them, we're right on the edge of all of it happening at once. That's everything for today's breakdown. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like the video, drop a comment telling us who you think this mysterious, Abby, character really is, and subscribe so you don't miss the next update the moment new details drop. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.